We often speak of protecting children from harm, but we also must protect their sense of wonder, agency, and possibility. Because what we call discipline is often just the early death of curiosity. What we call normalcy is sometimes the first betrayal of authenticity. A child's desire to explore, ask, imagine, or express is not a phase. It's the purest evidence that universal consciousness is working properly. To ignore it, suppress it, or mold it into something socially convenient is to teach a child that their self is wrong. And once they believe that, they will spend the rest of their life either rebelling against the world or erasing themselves inside of it. The Overman does not see parenting as control. He sees it as cultivation. To raise a child well is not to mold them into your image, but to protect their access to universal consciousness long enough for them to recognize it in themselves. The goal is not obedience, it's awakening. The goal is not perfection, it is permission to become. Because the child will grow, the self will take shape. The only question is, did you shape it with fear or with faith? If universal consciousness enters the world through the child, then parenting becomes the first interface between the infinite and the formed. The question is, what kind of welcoming are we offering that consciousness? For generations, many believed that hitting children to teach them right from wrong. They called it discipline, they called it love, some still do. But let's be clear, the data is in. Spanking absolutely harms children. It doesn't produce discipline, it produces trauma. It doesn't teach respect, it teaches fear. And fear is the antithesis of consciousness. Every time you strike a child, you teach them that power is violence, that love is conditional, and that their body is not sacred. You teach them that the world is not safe, and worse, you are not safe. You're not teaching them boundaries. You are teaching them betrayal. Universal consciousness enters the world fragile but expansive. A child's first years are the most formative, not just biologically, but spiritually. It is during these years that they begin to sense, is it safe for me to be here? When a child is hit, especially by the person meant to protect them, they do not learn the lesson you intended. They learn that consciousness is dangerous, that the act of existing is risky, that their questions, energy, or failure deserve pain. To the fathers out there, do you really want to be the first man to cause your daughter physical harm and call it love? You can train obedience through pain, but you can never awaken consciousness through fear. This is not softness. This is not coddling. This is alignment with reality, because the purpose of discipline is not to break the child. It is to build the self. And the self is not built through fear. It's built through guidance, modeling, and relationship. Gentle parenting is not weak. It's one of the most radical acts of spiritual protection in a world obsessed with control. It is the decision to engage with the next generation of consciousness with respect, clarity, and care instead of inherited pain. If the Overman is to reshape society, he must begin with how we treat those with the least power, children. Because how you treat the least conscious among you is how you treat consciousness.